The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, weighing in at 210 pounds, DK Vandu.
This is Jason Heat. Very happy to be here. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Earlier today, I was in a car accident, 4-car pileup in the hospital, and I drove straight from the ER right here because Virginia Championship Wrestling and pro wrestling in general is that important to me. I'm thrilled to be here alongside Brandon Metheny as DK Vandu making his way out to the ring in a match that is a battle between two up-and-coming prospects.
Way better than Cash, right? You hear me? You play this, you hear that.
DK Vandu immediately not doing a lot to ingratiate himself to this crowd. He does a lot of his talking in the ring and is no stranger to violence, which is a good thing given the match that he has coming up, because he's going to get violence in spades and even more in competition.
And his opponent, fighting out of Columbia, Maryland, weighing in at 230 pounds, he is the best submission wrestler on earth, the Mush Master, Tim Spriggs.
Tim Spriggs, known as the best submission wrestler on earth. That might sound braggadocious. That might sound like hyperbole. But with Spriggs, there's a case that it's also very, very true. He is the former #1 ranked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter in the world, a former BJJ champion. He is on a terror in VCW, having most recently defeated Isaiah Frazier. He is so young in his professional wrestling career, but he carries with him the poise and the confidence of the caliber of professional athlete that he is. This is a man who has fought some of the best in the world and beaten them, has shined on the brightest stages, and now here at VCW is amassing a collection of wins that are so impressive. Tim Spriggs versus DK Vandu. This is sure to be, I would say, a technical exhibition. We're gonna see a lot of holds, a lot of counters, a lot of reversals, and I am rejoined by our ring announcer, Brandon Metheny, Esquire.
It is your pleasure for me to be here. Hang on, I have to do my other job. For once, I will say, I think you're correct. I think we're gonna see a technical masterpiece here. I think both these men, lots of technical skill, lots of mat skill, and I think we're gonna see a lot of holds and joint locks and all kinds of things like that that are really gonna make this a quite unique match in this event.
It'll be a real feather in the cap of DK Vandu, not only if he can defeat Tim Spriggs, but if he can defeat him via submission. I'd say that that's bragging rights for any professional wrestler at this point.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, Tim Spriggs is one of the best submission wrestlers out there today. He is the self-proclaimed best submission wrestler on the planet, and he's proved it.
Well, he's no slouch in the striking department either, as we're seeing two quick knees to the head of Vandu, and Vandu already rocked. And the face of Vandu, the fear, when you are in the ring with Tim Spriggs, you are moments away from becoming a victim at any time.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen plenty of faces of people faces racked with pain. To your point, that was fear. That was what have I gotten myself into?
And no feeling out process whatsoever. Tim Spriggs will not give you a second to get acquainted with him. He is shock and awe from the first moment, which is why DK Vandu doing a great job of taking advantage of the opportunity that's been afforded of him, whether he's doing it by legal means or not. He's got till 5 technically.
He does. It's effective. I mean, you don't have to like it, but it is quite effective. And the thing is that DK Vandu is a little bit of an unknown entity. He's had a couple matches here in VCW. There's not a lot of tape on him, which is why I think it was smart of Spriggs to come out hot out of the gate, because you don't have to worry about someone else's strengths if you can just wipe them out from the start.
Well, you're going to learn a lot about a competitor being in the ring with them. What we've seen right now is that DK Vandu may be willing to take some cheap shots, I would say. Legal but not ethical. You would know a lot about that.
I have no idea what you're referring to. Everything I do is of the highest level of ethics, but I do appreciate a what-it-all-costs mentality. And, you know, as you said, beating Tim Spriggs is a feather in his cap, and as the old saying goes, a win's a win. There is no registration of how it happened. It's just, or what method you took to get there. It's just a win in the record books.
Virginia Championship Wrestling has truly become a breeding ground for some of the best young talent in professional wrestling. A lot of them currently jockeying for position, trying to make a case to become contenders for one of our titles here, whether the VCW Virginia champion or the U.S. Liberty champion. And I'd say Tim Spriggs is making a great resume for himself so far in the last year or so.
He is. He really is. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad you mentioned being a haven for young talent. That is correct to Mr. Stephanie Tis and the Young Lions Challenge program. One of the most brilliant things in wrestling history. Just unabashed greatness. It's really been fantastic.
DK Vandu intercepted whatever Tim Spriggs had in mind. Great press there. You see, pushing both forearms down. That was a fantastic cover.
Yeah, I give DK Vandu a lot of credit there. You see a lot of guys go for a cover and they cover the stomach. He covered the shoulders and, as you said, pushed down on it. Fantastic cover by DK Vandu. That's the kind of smarts that win you matches.
Yeah, impressive coverage and not letting up. Really taking the fight and keeping it to Tim Spriggs, who seems to be more agile. Look for that heel hook, that devastating heel hook.
And DK Vandu's in the middle of the ring. This is a bad place to be.
Tim Spriggs can make you submit from so many different positions, but he does tend to favor that heel hook when he gets the opportunity.
He does, and DK Vandu able to use some kicks to break that up, and really a sense of desperation because you know once Spriggs...
Vandu got two on Spriggs, and he is taking the fight to Tim Spriggs in a way we have not seen often before.
Spriggs really knocked back on his heels right now. I think that this is surprising. I won't say he was overlooking DK Vandu. I don't think it's Tim Spriggs' style, but I certainly don't think he expected this level of intensity and offense from Vandu.
It's as you brought up before, there just wasn't a lot on DK Vandu to prepare from. Tim Spriggs used to going in, knowing a lot about his proponents, especially in the BJJ world, and now forcing his momentum down, not letting Vandu get, those hips in line to lift Spriggs up for a suplex, and countered. We are watching Tim Spriggs develop the professional wrestling acumen.
That would hurt.
That clothesline may have wiped Tim Spriggs' brain out like a hard drive.
Oh man, that's one of those times that it's good Tim Spriggs wears the mouth guard, because otherwise he could have lost some teeth on that clothesline.
He comes in prepared, ready to fight, but DK Vandu did his homework. This has been back and forth offense.
And a shot to the middle of the spine right there. You gotta believe just setting pins and needles all down Vandu's legs, most likely from that shot. And not saying he's gonna win you a match, but can definitely knock Vandu off his game.
Gotta wonder if Spriggs is going to find a specific target, a specific opening on Vandu's body that he'll be able to dissect. And so far, Vandu's done a great job of not allowing him to isolate a body part.
He's got till 5. He's got till 5, ref. Let's calm down now.
Vandu just throttling the Mush Master as Spriggs develops his professional wrestling skill to match what he brings to BJJ, he becomes more and more of a threat. But this is that period, that transition time, when in so many ways, a world-class level athlete like Tim Spriggs is at his most vulnerable.
Absolutely. He is Tim Spriggs has picked up a couple things at least.
Well, great job by Spriggs faking Vandu out with another knee. He'd hit him with them twice before and was able to use that repetition to goad Vandu into exactly the position he wanted him to be in.
And then hitting that beautiful flying forearm, certainly much more professional wrestling than BJJ move. And again, showing, to your point, his development as a professional wrestler, just getting better and better with each match.
Something that impressed me about DK Vandu, though, he immediately rolled to the edge of the ring in case Spriggs had the ability to go for a pin. Vandu put himself in perfect positioning to just be able to grab the ropes. Didn't re-engage with Spriggs until he was ready.
Absolutely, that's great ring awareness, and it's the little things that can help you win matches. Now putting yourself in a vulnerable position too.
This is going to be a match won, I think, by a wrestler making a mistake and taking advantage. And you just see the look. Vandu knows every time that Spriggs gets control on him exactly what situation he's in. It's like he's in a horror movie.
He knows what's coming, but has no way to stop it.
Leg hooked on that cover.
Beautiful fisherman suplex on variant there by Spriggs. Again, showing his growth as a professional wrestler. And I agree with your point completely. This is going to be a single mistake or a single lucky shot that's going to keep someone down for 3 seconds or cause that tap out, because these guys are very evenly matched.
Spriggs, like the submission Jason Voorhees, just keeps coming and keeps coming. Vandu almost lured him in. Every time one of these folks thinks they've got the advantage, the other finds a way to counter.
I mean, clearly both men have, well, I was going to say studying each other, but it's not a lot on Vandu. Spriggs is just adapting on the fly.
Spriggs almost looking like he was going to a submission, but instead of pinning predicament, we're seeing so much improvisation out of Tim Spriggs, and now locking that choke in.
Oh, that's Tim Spriggs or DK Vandu in a bad place in the middle of the ring.
I think he's about to go to sleep. I'm sorry for the nightmares.
I just don't know where he's going to go. That's it.
Here is your winner by submission, the Mush Master, Tim Spriggs.
All about the positioning in that one. Tim Spriggs locked in the choke, rolled Vandu through to the center of the ring. We had seen Vandu do a great job of playing defense by staying on the outer edges, so he would have that rope break in his back pocket. But under those circumstances, there was nowhere to go, dead center. He had nothing to do but tap 1, 2, 3.
No, great ring awareness by Tim Spriggs and locking in a devastating hold there. And as you said, no choice by DK Vandu but to tap.
Tim Spriggs continues all the momentum in the world here at VCW.